So this next video, video 3 in our list of BON rules and regs guiding practice, is about your initial licensure and the NCLEX RN exam. So this one should be pretty relevant to y'all. You know, everybody in Texas who wants to be a nurse has to demonstrate good professional character. That's part of what your FBI background check was for when you put in your very first applications and got your blue cards. Um, so there's issues maybe in the past you might have had that might be a problem with your licensure, and that's where you turn in your declaratory order. Now, if you when you think about it, the Board of Nursing doesn't want to keep people from being a registered nurse if they have a history of a problem in the past. Their biggest concern is an individual who may not disclose something that happened in the past because, you know, if you have good professional character up front, you're going to be accountable and say, hey, this is what happened. But if you hide something on your initial licensure, then their thought is what might you do as a nurse in the future when you get into practice. So that's another reason why you might need a declaratory order would be lack of fitness, and might be a mental health issue or issues with intemperate use and all that. I'm sure y'all have already taken over if you had that issue with the declaratory order that once that's done, they review it, they say, okay, you're good to practice, and they send you a blue card or a letter that says you're eligible to sit for your initial licensure exam. You guys should already have that in the past behind you. You shouldn't have to worry about that now. So let's move on to your graduate nurse permit. You know, when you get out of school and you graduate, and then the college confirms your affidavits of graduation with our Board of Nursing, then your Board of Nursing reviews your background check and all that kind of stuff, and everything's good. And oh, and you've taken your nurse's jurisprudence exam, then they issue what they call a graduate nurse permit. This permit is good for 75 days from the day that you get it. And so it goes until the 75 days are up, or you take your NCLEX. And if you pass your NCLEX, your GN permit expires because your new license starts on that date, your RN license. If an individual is unsuccessful on the NCLEX, then the graduate permit expires on that date, and then that individual can't work as a GN any longer. So, you know, if you get into the NCLEX and you and someone's not successful on the NCLEX, then you can't work as a GN anymore in that independent practice setting. You have to work as a tech. So there's some guidelines for the NCLEX application. You're already working all this. You've done your application. We're going to verify your requirements for graduation. You've already done your background check, and you're going to pass your nurse prudence if you haven't already, and then you pass the NCLEX, right? So there's ways to see if you pass the NCLEX, and don't do the rumors where, oh, if you can re-register, then you didn't fail. Don't listen to all that. Let's stick with what we know for sure. If an individual is unsuccessful on the NCLEX, the next day that permit to practice, pre-licensure permit, is gone. So that's one way you can tell. If you get up the next day and you check your permit and it's still there, then all is good. Odds are you pass the NCLEX. There's another way where you can pay $8 and get quick results through Pearson View. That those are unofficial results. You can look at those too. The rules for the board though is that they have up to 30 days to notify you if you pass the exam or not. So, and if you haven't heard by 90 days, they say give it to you in writing. But I haven't heard of anybody having to worry about that. Now, the if an individual does not pass the NCLEX on the first attempt, that person has to wait 45 days before they can take the exam again. And the Board of Nurses sends them what they call a critical review. It's a packet that has the areas that you need to study on, how you did. So if like I didn't pass the NCLEX, I would get the snail mail and the, postal mail. There's a packet that says what I need to work on to be successful on the next time. All right. And then of course the individual who passes the NCLEX, they meet that criteria that says you're going to be a safe practitioner, then boom, you have your RN license that you can see right there on the nurse portal. So your initial license is it's a graduate nurse and you pass the board, and then you're going to have to worry about renewing your license once every 2 years. And so the renewal of the initial licensure can happen anywhere between 6 and 29 months, depending on the date of your birth. So I got some examples here that is probably the easiest way to show you. So for instance, if I pass NCLEX on January the 28th in 24 and my birthday's in an odd year, then 14 months later in that 6 to 29 month range, that's when I'm going to take the NCLEX, because it's the last day of your birth month, and then the year is based on if you're born in an odd or even year. So if you're born in an odd year, you take it you renew in an odd year. And if you're born in an even year, you renew on an even year, right? So pass NCLEX on January 28th, 2024. I'm born in April in an even year. Then my first renewal date gets to be all the way 27 months later, April 30th, 2026, because I fall up here in the 6 to 29 month range. April is only 3 months after January, so I wouldn't have to renew that quickly. The next example is if oops, I was born in no, that was right. Sorry, guys. If you pass NCLEX in 2024 and your birthday in January, right, and your birthday's in October and it's an even year, then your first renewal is going to be 9 months after you pass the NCLEX in that 6 to 29 month period. And then the last example is an individual passes in February in 24 and their birthday is in January, even year, then it's 23 months later and January 31st of 2026. So remember, the last day of your birth month, right? And then if you're born in an odd year, you renew in an odd year. And if you're born in an even year, you renew on an even year. Remember, it's important to know when you need to renew your license, because once you get out of school and you're out there and practice on your own, if you don't get your renewal done and your CE submitted, then you just won't be able to work. You won't get paid or anything. You won't be able to go to work with an expired license. So it's important that you guys keep up with that. And that's this rule right here. The initial license period is ranging, issued for this range right here. Now we're going to talk about the nurse compact one on another one. So we're going to not to worry about that right here. What we do need to tell you though is about your change of name or address. And if you get married or you change your name or you change your address, you have to notify the board within 10 days. And if you if you change your name, then you need the legal document to reflect the name change go to. And all these changes can be submitted through the nurse portal now. It's not like you have to do postal mail to get it taken care of. So be sure to remember to keep your contact information up to date with your board of nursing. All right, and that is the end of video 3.